microphone, so I don't have any video, unfortunately.
So I'm sorry, Arnie. So before you start, do you need me to bring up your plans, Mike?
No, I should be able to take care of that. So
Okay,
I just don't have the video component on my desktop.
okay. Okay, go ahead, Arnie. Sorry about
Okay, we're
that.
all set on.
Okay, good.
Please.
And welcome everyone to the June 21st, 2023 meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission. We will open with the roll call. Mr. Kyokyo,
Here.
Ms. Hofstetter,
Here.
Mr. Sylvain,
Here.
Mr. Haas,
Here.
the Chairman Finaldi is here. We have a full vote this evening and no alternates will be seated at this time. I will read my standard introduction for the virtual Zoom meetings. This meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission is being held on Zoom as a virtual meeting. Even though this meeting is a virtual meeting, members of the public and interested parties continue to have the opportunity to participate in the meeting in a couple of different ways. You can participate via Zoom and see the audio and the video, or you can call by phone and participate via video, audio only. Please be aware that we may have to mute your microphone or telephone to avoid an echo or some other background noise. Instructions on how to participate in the meeting appear on the City of Danbury website, and all of the documents and materials that apply to the matters to be discussed during this meeting, including the agenda, are also available on the City of Danbury website. As always, if you have any questions regarding how to participate in the meeting, please contact the City of Danbury Planning and Zoning Department. As a reminder, the entire meeting will be posted on and can be seen on the City of Danbury website. We will follow the posted agenda as per standard practice. If prior to the meeting, any questions or comments on agenda items were submitted via email to the Planning and Zoning Department, those comments will be read during the appropriate portion of the meeting. Finally, please remember that technology glitches sometimes do occur. Please be patient if that happens. Before we move into our agenda, there are a couple of housekeeping items that I want to make sure we get on the record. First of all, as you all know, we will be canceling the meetings on July 5th and July 19th, the regularly scheduled Planning Commission meetings, and having a special meeting on July 12th in its place. So again, one more time, the July 5th meeting and the July 19th meeting of the Danbury Zoning Planning Commission will be canceled, and we will replace both of those with a special meeting on July the 12th. Please note your calendars accordingly. That's item one. Item two, looking at our agenda under continuation of public hearings, you'll see that the Tower Investment Group LLP matter is shown. It turns out we will not be hearing any testimony on that particular matter this evening. We will be asking for a continuance at the appropriate time. So if you're participating in this meeting in anticipation of discussing the Tower Investment Group LLP application under continuation of public hearings, please note that that matter will be continued and we will not be hearing any testimony on that matter this evening. So that's 1, 2, and 3. I do need to get a motion. We're going to be making a slight change to the agenda this evening. You'll note, Commission members, the first item under for reference only is G&J Partners, Danbury Retail Management LLC, application for floodplain permit for fast food restaurant with drive-through use and medical office use in the CG20 zone. That's 1 Sugar Hollow Road, G17001, special exception number 788. We have from time to time referred to that one as Chipotle. I'd like to get a motion to move that from for reference only to item 1 under old business for discussion and possible action. At the appropriate time of the meeting, Jennifer will be speaking to that issue. So can I get a motion to do that?
Mr. Chairman, so moved.
Thank you, Helen. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Sylvain. Okay, so there's been a motion and a second to move the matter of G&J Partners from for reference only to item 1 under old business. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That matter is moved to item number 1 under old business. Okay. I think it was earlier today, the minutes of the May 17th, 2023 meeting were distributed. The June 7th minutes are not yet completed. Commission members, assuming you've had oh, sorry, Joanne, go ahead.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. I sent the June 7th were attached to the agenda, and the May 17th I finished last night at 11:30, so I sent them out this morning.
Okay,
So you have both of them.
I stand corrected.
It's okay.
I got my dates reversed there. So commission members, you do have both sets of minutes, the June 7th and the May 17th. And I will entertain a motion. I guess we could do one motion for both sets of minutes. So unless there's any discussion, I'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I will, propose we accept the minutes in both meetings.
Thank you, Helen. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Kyokyo. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? The minutes of the May 17th and June 7th meetings are accepted. Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you.
We already covered the matter of the two cancellations and the rescheduling of the meeting. So I think we're ready to move forward to our first public hearing this evening. And you know what? Jennifer, I did not print the.
It's in the meeting.
It's in
Yeah, I
the,
know, but I go by paper. I'm an old fashioned guy here. Hang on. I'll get it. The legal notice. Just give me a second here. My bad. I'm new at this, folks. You have to give me a little space on this one. All right, here we go. Legal notice is hereby given that the Planning Commission of the City of Danbury will hold a public hearing commencing at 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday, June 21st, 2023, in a web-based meeting hosted on Zoom to consider the following matter. Down Home Associates, LLC, property owner, application for special exception site plan approval for self-storage, Putnam 3, self-storage in the IL40 zone, 7 Great Pasture Road, L16001, special exception number 794. A copy of this application is on file in the Planning and Zoning Office for public inspection. Parties in interest and citizens shall have an opportunity to be heard at this time. Agenda to be posted will include instructions on how to access the Zoom meeting and application materials and view the meeting in real time on YouTube. Arnold E. Finaldi Jr., Chairman, posted on the city website and town clerk's office on June 6, 2023, published in the News Times on June 9th, 2023, June 16th, 2023, purchase order number 2022-174. With that said, is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this application? Mr. Mizuko.
Yes, good evening. For the record, Mike Mizuko, professional engineer. My office is in Danbury, representing the applicant for this proposal at 7 Great Pasture Road. It is approximately 7 acres in size, as you noted, in the IL40 zone. And am I all set to share my screen?
Joanne is nodding, Mike, so it looks like we're okay.
Okay, sorry. All right, everybody seeing that?
Yes, yeah.
yes,
Beautiful. So this site is improved currently with a single family dwelling, and there was remains of some recent sort of non-conforming activities that has since ceased. The site is situated, I'm going to zoom into this vicinity map. So you can see prime storage is across the street. You got Shelter Rock Lane here. The dark line represents the site and it backs up to Simpog Brook. And just to the south of that, you got Safe and Sound Storage, and currently under construction in between those two self-storage facilities is Modern Self-Storage, which we had gotten recent approval on for more storage there. So I will go to the area mapping here. So the property does have some floodplain on it. And then you can see the site is in this area here. Simpog Brook is through here, and you can see we're at roughly 358 for a floodplain elevation. This is just the zoning map. It shows IL 40. There's no residential property that borders this property. So we're clear there with any buffers or anything like that. And this is just the web soil survey map. So the proposal is to tear down the existing dwelling and construct 3 new buildings of self-storage. And I'll show you the rendering of the front building, which is building A. It's a 4-story building. Everybody seeing that?
Mhm.
Yes.
So it should give you an idea. If you want me to toggle back at any point, just please let me know and I'll do that if you want to see something. But you can see that it sort of indicates the grade from front to back, because along the frontage of the property, a portion of that drains towards Great Pasture Road, but the remainder of it pitches towards the back. So we have a 4-story building, but in the front, there's a story below grade here across the whole front. But we do have just a driveway all around, and then there's doors in the front here with more storage 2 floors above that. So the driveway entrance is here, is sort of noted on the rendering. So the rendering doesn't show some of the retaining walls, but we have a little retaining wall here. And directional arrows. There's a building B in the middle. That's just a slab only building. So you'll be able to drive around it. It's all the same elevation. And then you have a third building, building C, which in dealing with the grade differences, that has an upper level and a lower level. So on both the ends, we're going down and then again coming back up. Again, it's all one way. And when I show you the turning movements plan, you'll see why. So the site is served by municipal water and natural gas. There will be a septic system. And we do have, here's Simpog Brook that sort of borders along the westerly property line. There's a fairly large wetland system that's identified by this line. And there is a floodplain line noted on this map. And if you look at, I'll just click on this. So that's roughly the 358 contour line, which represents the approximate flood elevation. So we're not doing anything below that elevation. And try to stay away from wetlands and floodplain as much as possible. So we do have, as I said, this grade back in the back of building A is lower, 1 story lower than the front. We do have a loading area here, which is for a tractor trailer. So that elevation drops down. So it would have rear access from the truck into this loading platform or loading dock. And then additional loading areas here and here for the multi-story building. The other 2 buildings, B and C, are basically drive-up units, which is your sort of standard back in the day with the door and the door, and you just access it from there. There may be some hallways within building B just to access, because the building is 50 feet wide, depending on how they chop up the number of units. The building C is only 30 feet wide, so that's just access from single units from the front or the back. So we have a total floor area or gross floor area of about 105,000 square feet. We have the loading areas required. And we have just a small office, which will be in this corner of the building. We have a handicap space, 2 additional parking spaces. And I will go to the site utilities. So as I mentioned, the front part of the site does drain down to Great Pasture, but we picked up most of that water. And then it all drains back through a drainage system that runs pretty much on both sides, but eventually to a detention basin in this location. Our septic system is here. The soils are very good. It's not a very big system because the water use for self-storage is very low. You'll have a handful of visitors that might use the bathroom and an office staff of maybe 1 person. So septic system very small. As I said, soils are very good in ground, which is good, especially when we're close to a wetland system. Utility lines here, electric, gas, water, and a separate water line for the building A, which will be sprinklered as well as climate controlled. Going on to the septic plan. Again, it's just a larger scale plan with a little more detail in order to get the septic plan approved by the health department. But you can see the cross section here, septic in ground. This is the lighting plan. And even though I kept the lighting pretty much building mounted all the way around, even though the rendering shows some post lighting in the front. I'll have to work out those details. If they really want them, I'll have to remodel that into this, but you can see I'm sorry for the orientation of the numbers for the lighting intensity of foot candles, but those are in the cyan colored numbers. So we have basically, like I said, building mounted lighting around. We have a couple of post lighting. There's one here near the entrance and another here near the loading area. Everything else I had just building mounted. And you can see the building there next door. And they're just, like a wall pack. And then the post lighting, the 2 post lights that we have there. With the building mounted lighting, we're not really shedding any light, too far beyond the edge of the driveway. Even though this is a commercial piece here, but the 2 other lots here are, even though they're in IL 40 zone, they are residential uses. This is the vehicle turning plan. So one of the things that the applicant wanted was to be able to access the site with a tractor trailer. And so it really just meant of having one-way traffic and then just looping around. So you can see that either way, tractor trailer comes in between the B and C or below C. It can get around and then it can pull up back into the loading and then easily drive out of the site. Yeah, you're not gonna drive with a tractor trailer in, you can't get it around building A, but we did make it such that an SU-30, which is like a UPS truck, could maneuver around building A. Here, it's not gonna be able to make a right turn to get out. It would just have to, pull off back, do a, single point turn and then go out. And then a regular vehicle could make the turn here. It's just this is the passenger vehicle. Can make the turn here, it crosses over into the other lane, but this type of use is a very low traffic generator and very low intensity use in terms of traffic generation and site traffic. So that's that. And then the last two sheets are just standard details. Nothing major here. The light, some of the stuff here has to do with the detention basin and infiltration trench. And then I will, again, this is just erosion control details. And I will just swing over to the other plans that were in the set that are separate from their PDFs, but this is the survey map from Sid Rapp's office. Just the basis for our mapping, but just wanted to show you that. And also the landscape architect's plan. So these, oops, sorry, I'm not used to this. I'm used to AutoCAD with this mouse, so the thing jumps when I kind of try to pan around, but so this is an overall view of the landscape. So you see the landscaping along the frontage, some other stuff, some islands and around the back. Plus, I thought Abigail did a nice job with that. And let me just, so these are just larger scale views and call outs because it's such a large site. You can see your match line there. And that's the back part. And then her details, planting details and notes on that sheet. So that pretty much sums up the proposal. If there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. If you just direct your question to a certain sheet, I can get there pretty quick.
Commission members, are there any questions from Mike at this point? Mr. Kiokio, go ahead.
Mike, you said that building C, which is the one in the back, is 2 levels. Is it 1 level in the front and 2 levels in the back, or is it 2 levels across the whole way, or how? Because I thought you said that you access from the ground, so I'm confused as how it could be 2 levels there.
Well, there's 1 level accessible in the front. And then there's another level accessible in the back that's 10 feet lower.
Okay, so it's the lower level is underground from the front, is that?
Correct. That's correct.
Oh, okay, I got it. Okay, so it's lower in the back, and you access the lower level from the back and the upper level from the front.
Yeah, it's similar to what we did on the other side of the road with some of those buildings, just to deal with the grade differences. So you can
Yep,
see-
okay.
Yeah, you can see the finished grading here, which I think some of these, yeah, we're just dropping the grade down to get to that lower level. And yeah, so
Okay,
look at
and
when you look at it from the back, you'll see 2 floors, but when you look at it from the front, you'll see only 1.
got it, okay. And all of the building B and C are just front door access, garage door access?
That's correct. They're not climate controlled and they're just at front access. As I mentioned, because this building is 50 feet, there may be like just an entrance door to go in just to make up the ideal unit size.
Yep,
So you're not ending up with just say 25-foot deep units all along the front and the back is.
Okay,
Okay,
got it. And the front building A is climate controlled?
yes,
Or
it
not?
is.
Yes, okay. And so how do you access how do you get to the upper floors, I guess, of
Well,
those buildings?
there'll be entrances and then elevators. So, I don't know exactly where the elevators are located. I don't have the floor plans. But there has to be an elevator and I'm not sure if there'll be one or two, but. And those will be for, things, your items that you'll be carrying up in addition to, personnel. And people.
Got it, okay. So to get, access the second or third floors there, you're probably gonna have to go through the loading dock area, I guess, and like on a dolly or something and up the elevator and down the corridors with that? Is that how you're gonna access those, rooms?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah, it's similar to modern storage that's being built now across the street. Where, they have a very similar building. I think those was 4 floors also because they were down below grade. I think in the front, they were down below 2 stories because of the grade difference. But I believe they had 2 elevators there, so similar.
Got it, okay, thanks.
From a design perspective, I know that the early versions of these buildings were just a great big metal square box or rectangular box, not much to look at. We've tried to change that. We're trying to make these, buildings aesthetically more pleasing to the eye rather than a sort of sheet metal warehouse. And one of the things I know we're trying to do from a design perspective is to get away from the idea of the roll-up doors along the property frontage, just to make it look a little bit nicer when people drive by. I'm just trying to think along Great Pasture Road, and I'm looking for the rendering right now.
That's
2
right
questions.
here.
Are there roll-up doors along the property frontage, A, and B, is there a landscape buffer along Great Pasture that just sort of blocks the view of that?
Yes,
I-
there are roll-up doors along the front there, but you can see that the building, is not just like your standard 1-level roll-up door, like across the street. So there's a lot of curb appeal to the design of the building, as you can see. And unfortunately, the landscaping doesn't show on here, but I'll just click back to the landscape plan so you can see that it's all landscaped along that whole frontage.
Okay, so that in the rendering, Mike, that bare sort of chain link fence, that's not what people will see when they drive by. There is
No,
landscape.
they won't even see probably much of the fence because of the landscaping.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, unfortunately, this just shows grass, but this is all planted in here.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Jen, I think that we've approved a couple of these recently. The one on 95 Mill Plain, that doesn't have roll-up doors along the frontage, does it, Jen? Forgive me, I don't recall.
Mr. Chairman, no, it does not. And I believe Modern Self-Storage, the one across the street that the commission approved, also does not have the roll-up doors in the front.
Okay,
Yeah, I can vouch for that.
okay. Okay. So it's something we keep an eye on.
Sure.
Anybody else have any questions from Mike at this point?
Mr. Chairman.
Please, Helen.
The staff report included a number of recommendations, comments and recommendations, and I don't know how many of these are being addressed, and I don't know if this is the right time to go through them all, but for one thing that we mentioned about signs and directional, directional indicators for the internal, roadmap, so to speak, what's, and it's recommended, put, use do not enter or one-way signs wherever signs are appropriate that would help help the movement of traffic. So there's that one, you mentioned about the doors in the front and the chain link fence, and that was recommended that that the doors in the front be removed and the chain link fence be another option besides the chain link fence would be more appropriate. And so and there's a number of other ones too. So I'm just wondering if what are this, if we've addressed all these things and its staff is okay with the presentation tonight, or whether there's more work to do.
No, I mean, we have some stuff to do. We haven't really gone through everything. I'm still waiting for engineering comments. But
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
I do
yeah,
have, I do have directional arrows shown, so those would have to be painted. I do show some one-way do not enter signs. I mean, I could add another one, here, a sign here for this traffic. But other than that, if nobody's going in this way, we shouldn't need any other one-way signs here. But
okay,
I'll
so,
go through it and.
yeah, that would be helpful, just so we know everything's been addressed.
Sure. Oh,
I just-
absolutely. Yeah,
wanted to-
I'll prepare written responses to everything.
Okay, yeah, this isn't necessarily the time, but I'm just requesting that, thank you.
Absolutely. We always do
Alright.
that.
And I have a curiosity item for myself here. The sprinklers are in, there is sprinklers in the the 4-story unit, which I would imagine is very appropriate there. You don't have them in the 2-story one. I'm guessing it's only needed with certain number of floors. What's the decision there that didn't happen in building C?
Roy, I think once you get above 3 floors, I think, I'm not 100% because I don't really do the building design, but I believe once you get above that, you have to have sprinklers.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that clarification. All right, thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman, if I may as well,
What was
Go ahead,
that?
Ally.
if I can just jump in really quick as well. We do still have outstanding departmental reports, and the fire marshal's office is one of them. So once we get that report as well, we can make that determination with the sprinkler system. They'll have more expert advice on that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ally. Yeah, just commission members, we're not going to be closing this tonight, so we've got a lot of issues here. And I did want to reinforce something Helen said, which I forgot to mention when I was speaking. Given the sort of, not unusual, but unique layout of the buildings, there are some circulation issues that I was looking at. I didn't come up with any specific questions, but I just want to make sure, Jen, I just wanted to mention to you on the record that let's look at the circulation issues and make sure that that everything is as it should be. And we'll get more specific, I guess, at our next meeting. But I just wanted
Thank
to
you, Mr.
reinforce
Chairman.
this, Helen. Okay. Commission members, is there any other questions from Mike at this point?
No more questions, just, I agree with Helen. I was thinking there were several open items, so I'll reserve my comments until we hear more on the responses. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Anyone else in favor? Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Anyone in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? I'm assuming there isn't anybody. From my screen, I can't tell because the maps are still up there, so I can only see 4 people. There we go. Okay, no opposition. Good. Okay. Well, with that said, as I mentioned, we have a lot of open issues, fire marshal, etc. We will not be closing the public hearing this evening. Mike, do you have anything to add before I ask for a continuance?
No, I want to confirm the special meeting you said was July 12th.
Yes, sir.
Okay. No, I think that's it.
Commission members, unless there's anything else, I'll entertain a motion to continue this public hearing until our next regularly scheduled meeting, which is on July the 12th.
Mr. Chairman, motion to continue this public hearing until the July 12th meeting.
Do I hear a second?
Second,
Second, okay, motion made by Mr. Sylvain, seconded Mr. Kyokyo to continue this matter until our next meeting on July 12th. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, we will continue this on July 12th. Thank you, Mr. Mizuko.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Moving to our continuation of public hearing. Item 1, Tower Investment Group LLP, application special exception site plan approval for apartment house, The Legacy on Main, bank trip generation in excess of 500 vehicle trips per day, section 3E2, and required parking in excess of 100 spaces, section 5F2B in the CCBD zone 30 and 34 Main Street, I-15254 and I-15335, special exception 792. Commission members, as I mentioned at the open of the meeting, the applicant has requested that we continue this matter. We will not be hearing any testimony on this application this evening, so I will ask for a motion to continue.
Motion to continue this application.
Thank you, Helen. Second, please.
Second,
Second, Mr. Kyokyo. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? We will hear the matter of Tower Investment Group at our next meeting on July the 12th. Okay, old business for discussion and possible action. We moved one matter up under that part of the agenda. G&J Partners, Danbury Danbury Retail Management LLC, application for floodplain permit for fast food restaurant with drive-through use and medical office in the CG20 zone, 1 Sugar Hollow Road, G17001, special exception 788. Jennifer, I believe you're going to handle this one.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. So I apologize. The application, we've been working with the applicant in the engineering department for the past year to finally get a sign off from the engineering department. We got that today, and I saw the opportunity to pretty quickly put together the floodplain permit to present to the commission tonight. So I wasn't able to get it to you earlier than showing it to you now. So what I'll do is share my screen so I can bring up a few things. Can everybody see that?
Now we can, yes.
Okay. So I'm just getting the little highlight. Bear with me right here. Can you see, can you see the mouse moving around?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay. So I'm sure you all remember sometime last year, I think it was last summer, the commission approved a multi-tenant building located at the corner of Bacchus Ave and Sugar Hollow. The Kisson Brook runs along the edge of the property along this this property line. You can actually see this dark dashed line right here is the limits of the floodplain. Nope, sorry, hold on here. That was Mike's plan. So this is the actual flood map. And you can see this area right here is the site, and you can see, again, the mall is up in this area, Shops at Marcus Dairy down here. This is the former Pier 1, which has been demolished. So you can see the floodplain basically running the property in half. So the staff report, again, this is all the, basic information that you'd see in previous floodplain permits. Describes the site, again, the building, multi-tenant, about 5,100 square feet in size. October 2022, the commission approved the plans. Improvements included the redesign of the parking lot, grading, landscaping, storm drainage, and some work related to the closure of the Bacchus Ave driveway. So the floodplain is actually in what we call the unnumbered A floodplain. There's no there's no known base flood elevation for this area. What we collectively use is the established base flood from the Army Corps, which is 454.4. The work results in approximately 271 cubic yards of fill. To compensate for that fill, they're proposing to remove 271 cubic yards of material, resulting in a 0 net fill. So on the second page, the finished floor elevation is at 454.5, which is at the established base flood elevation. And also the structure has access to ground that is above the base flood elevation. The provisions of 7A5C, 7A6, and 7A7 have been met. We have a couple conditions. This also reflects they made a minor revision to the grading to the plans this afternoon. So you'll see that revision date revised through 6/21/23. Number 2, condition number 2, they're required to provide the elevation certificate for that structure. And number 3, certifying writing the project was constructed pursuant to the approved plans. And the site work resulted in 0 net fill within the regulated floodplain. And again, standard condition, any modification requires a revised floodplain permit. Are there any questions?
Questions for Jennifer on the floodplain permit? Jen, I remember well when we did the one for the shops at Marcus Dairy. You know, that Kissin Brook is a tricky one. And
Yes.
suffice it to say that, you know, there was the anticipation of flooding in that far corner of the parking lot. So at the time I worked up at Lee Farm Corporate Park, I remember when it was raining like crazy, driving down there and standing there and seeing if it flooded, and it didn't. So our engineering was called that one very properly. So questions for Jennifer on the floodplain permit? Okay, unless there's any further discussion, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the floodplain permit.
Thank you, Mr. Kyoko. Do I hear a second? Second.
Second.
Mr. Lane. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The floodplain permit is approved. That is it for old business. You'll see a referral, 824 referrals, June 2023 City Council Agenda Item number 11, application for renewal of extension of water and sewer, 100 Sawmill Road. Back to you, Jen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the staff report dated June 15th outlines, again, this is a renewal for an extension of a water renewal of extension of water and sewer extension. The trying to see my dates here. City Council November 2021. Sorry, November 2021. City Council approved those extensions. Again, they get 18 months. So they've applied for the renewal. Staff has no objection. Again, the standard, they have to comply with the previously approved site plan, which is referenced in the staff report. All final plans and documents should be approved as to form and content by Corporation Council and Public Works. That's it in a nutshell. Any questions?
Any questions for Jen? On the matter of the extension of the water and sewer on Sawmill Road, anything?
One question, Jen, what property is this?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's so 100 Sawmill. It's just south of the intersection of Sawmill and Woodland Drive, past, is that Hospice? No, Ann's Place, just past Ann's Place. There's an existing building out there now. I think Danbury Hospital, New Vance has some offices in there. They cut the property into, it was one large piece and they cut it into 2 parcels. So that's why there's 2 site plans, SP 20-05 and 20-06.
Got it. Thank you.
It's right before, Turner Road. Do you know when we approved Belimo?
Yes,
Yes, it's right before Turner Road on the left-hand side,
okay.
Right near Crown Point Apartments, I believe.
just south. Yes, it's just south of Crown Point.
Any other questions for Jen? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for a positive referral for the water and sewer extension.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion for the renewal of the extension of water and sewer extension on 100 Sawmill Road.
Thank you, Helen. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Haas, thank you. Motion made and seconded for a positive referral on the matter of the sewer and water extension on 100 Sawmill Road. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The matter of the water and sewer extension at 100 Sawmill Road gets a positive referral to the city council. Looking at our agenda, commission members, nothing under new business correspondence, a couple of things for reference only. Unless there's anything else I'm forgetting, and I don't think I am, and again, note your calendars, July 5th meeting is canceled, as is the July 19th, and we'll be having one meeting on July 12th. Just wanted to make sure I got that in again. Anything else?
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I'll
Yes,
send
Jo.
out a notice tomorrow
Please.
or Monday. I'll send out a notice, confirming that to everybody.
Thanks, Joanne. Commission members, anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion made, and is there a second out there?
I'll second it.
Okay, geez, nobody wants to adjourn. Okay, a second by Mr. Haas. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you on July 12th. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.